you.
Yeah, put the recording on, Rob. You're not unmute, Rob. Okay. So, Andre, you're going to talk to us now about osteoporosis from a recording you heard the other day.
Yeah. I can't remember the man's name, but his specialty is osteoporosis. He's written a number of books, and apparently a new book has recently come out that he's written about this problem. And he was talking about how very, very extensive it is, and that many of the things that take people out at the end are actually as a result of an underlying osteoporosis. And so he was talking about things that exacerbate the likelihood of osteoporosis and then having the fractures and so on. And they are things that are prevalent in our world and that we've got to make people aware of. One is the antidepressants that are the serotonin breakdown inhibitors. Bob will know what that group of antidepressants are. So if your antidepressant is working on the serotonin system, then you are really in potential trouble of getting fractures because it affects the health of the bone. And that's the one set of drugs which is very frequently used, and it's used in younger people. And so they're finding women in the ages of about 30 to 50, one in 19 women using those antidepressants will have a fracture. I mean, it's huge when you consider the numbers of women who are being prescribed those drugs, more so now than ever before. And the other drugs that have a very negative effect on the health of the bone are the antacids and those sorts of things. What do you call them, Bob? You can see I'm firing on all cylinders. They blockers of some sort. Those are also, I mean, those are drugs you can get over the counter. And lots and lots and lots of people are taking them on an ongoing basis because they say they've got, they're feeling acidic. Their stomachs aren't working as they're not comfortable. And so they're taking these drugs and they are having a very, very poor effect on bones. Are very fascinating because they are a living tissue. And they, amongst other things, there are two types of cells in the bone. One group is called osteoblasts, and those build up bone, and the others are called osteoclasts, which are the cells that break down bone. And this is always going on in concert. So we know this to be so because if you break a bone, often it knits not quite straight, but over time, those two sets of cells will remold the bone into the proper shape because the shape is what is best for the function of that particular limb. And so we've got these osteoblasts and osteoclasts working in concert, and they should be literally working in concert. And then you bring a drug like that into the system, and it upsets the balance, and the balance goes in favor of the osteoclasts or the breaking down cells, and so you start getting the weakening of the bone. And just incidentally, the famous and favorite the one that they use often is called Fosamax. And the way in which that works is that they say, well, let's get smart and let's switch off the osteoclast. So we stop the breaking down or the building up process in the bone rather. And so we've got this building rather than not process going on, and we'll get stronger bones. And so at some level it works because you can get an increased density of the bone, but they're finding that they have all sorts of side effects, surprise, surprise. And they don't do a terribly good job because the bone that builds back is dense, but it's very brittle. And so you've got bones that break quite easily. They have got none of the pliability that our bones need to have to withstand the pressures and so on. So the bottom line of what this guy was saying was that how do we deal with it? And he said, you know, fundamentally, it's got to do with lifestyle. And it's got to do with what you eat, and it's got to do with how much exercise you get. And it doesn't have to be super vigorous stuff. It's just got to be on your pins regularly. And people say this over and over again. And my new resolve is to actually set a timer so that I don't sit and then I get up and I do something. And the sitting is a terribly bad thing for us, but not least of all because of the effect it has on our bones. So if we just get up and walk around for a few minutes every hour, I mean, that's not all you would do, but at least that, it's very important for bone health. And then he was talking about the importance, obviously, of calcium and magnesium and vitamin D, super important, but never to forget protein, super important. And the other thing, and I think this is the message that somehow we also have to get out there, is that the best time ever to build bones and to protect yourself from problems later in life is when you're a child. And that in the first 25 years of your life, you ought to be having all these good nutritional foundations built, the exercise foundations, all the lifestyle habits need to be put in place, because that's when you are developing your bones and you build the bones to the greatest density that you will 1% a year. So if your bones are strong and dense at the age of 25, you've got a lot of bone to lose during the decline. Whereas if they aren't all that strong and dense, you're going to end up in osteoporosis. So we've got to get the message out there to people that we've got to set the patterns in place for our children right from the start. And this is a tricky thing because, of course, children are taught how to live by their parents, and not only by what their parents say, but how their parents live. And so we've, you know, it's if the parents are not exercising or aren't eating well, they can't expect the children to do so. And so we've got this enormous job, and I'm not sure. I think we can brainstorm as to how we get this education going out about how important it is to set the building blocks in place. And then one final thing on that note, collagen is a protein that's in bones, very important. It's a structural protein, and we need to make that. But it's a very special protein in that it's only made up really of 3 amino acids. So, you know, a lot of people say they take collagen powder as their protein source. It's not a good amino acids that collagen needs to, you know, that you need to build collagen. It's got none of the others. And so when we talk about our shake being a complete protein, we mean it's got all the amino acids, which makes it a very valuable protein. But collagen is very, very, very incomplete. 3 out of the library of 22 amino acids. So just remind people that they might take collagen for a specific reason, namely to see if they can support the collagen formation in their bodies. But it is absolutely not a good protein replacement powder.
Wow, Andre, thank you. Excellent. Rob, you have to unmute, Rob. I can't hear you. Yes, Rob. I was going to say, Andre, if we could leave the brainstorming not today, it would be a good topic
Yeah, it
for
would be another time. I agree.
yes, yeah. Rob, what would you like to share?
Yeah, just one of the comments that my son made while we were over there was that this whole thing of breastfeeding obviously depletes the calcium in the body. And obviously when you're short of the calcium, because it's a balance that has to be kept in your blood and whatever, that the body then takes out of the bones. But provided you supplementing, I guess, I don't know, I haven't read any of the evidence, but provided you're supplementing and you're making sure that you're taking in the calcium and magnesium, your bones will in fact grow back stronger over time. But yeah, that is the trick, is to make sure and understand what is happening to your body as you go forward with that stage of your life.
It's
Thank you,
absolutely
Rob.
right
Yeah,
that
okay.
you know, the milk that the mother supplies has to have all the nutrients the infant needs. No question about it. The only time that the calcium will be leached out of the mother's bones and also her teeth, apparently a lot of women complain about tooth problems when they are breastfeeding. And that is a sure sign that the mother is not getting enough calcium in her diet. If she's getting enough calcium in her diet, or, you know, through supplementation, which is what we would strongly recommend under those circumstances, then it will leach out of the mom's bones. So it's a very good example of how important the diet of the mom is in order to supply the baby, because the baby will take what it needs at the expense of the tissue of the mother. And that is also why omega is important for pregnant women or breastfeeding women, because the baby will take the omega. And if it's not being replenished in the mother's diet, it'll take it from the mother's brain and so on. And that's true of most nutrients, but it becomes most obvious with the calcium and with the omega, because it leads to postpartum depression and those sorts of things. Yeah, so
Andre, can you possibly look for the video that you watched?
I can, and I will put the
and share
link.
it with us.
I can, yeah.
Thank you.
I wasn't, you know, I started listening without really knowing where it was going, you know, and
Yes.
so on. So yes, I can find it.
Thank you. That would be awesome. Thank you. So as we move on, so Andre, that's a wonderful start for the year with CalMag, with vitamin D, and the issue of osteoporosis. What a good way to get our focus in on one of our most excellent products. So Rob, can we just share now? I'm going to move into getting a session with Monica now. And Rob's just going to quickly get the screen thing going. And I said to Andre when we were planning this today's thing, I've been hearing a repetition in Rory McDermott's training, and it's disabled, Rob, the screen sharing. So you need to get it on for me. And I was thinking, oh, I must make myself another PowerPoint. And then I went, oh, hang on, we've got a resource library at the back of our on our back office. So here we go. So this morning I opened up this little section here. Can you all see it? In the back office. And blow me down if they haven't got PowerPoint presentations. So I'm really, really focusing into our back office a lot at the moment. Re-educating myself on it and what is available there. And so, Andre, if you don't mind, I'm going to quickly run through this one. And Bob, it'll be repetition for you. And Meryl, you weren't at. Oh man, sorry. Let me just open it. you obviously weren't at our training last week, and Alice, lovely to see you here as well. So let me just quickly get rid of my sidebar here. I don't know where it's hard to get rid of it. There it goes. So I'm going to start with the actual quick run through of our business. And I think this could also be a very useful one for any of you who we have to get out there and start sharing the products with the business. And there's a whole thing on that we're not going to go through on the moment. But I thought this would be a very good reminder to all of us of the basics of the business. So let me see if I can find, see, practice makes perfect. So this is just a little quick run through of how the business works. Now, if you are listening carefully, when you join, you get a Near Life Toolkit. And you're going to hear that the company is really, really promoting that we get people started with training. It is affordable, and it's our baseline product, and it makes all the difference. Obviously, I think a second one to go on to after training would be your CalMag and your Omega. And that's a topic for another day. But here you are, and we've got our 3 success habits on the top left-hand corner. Use your products. And you've got your Neo Life Kit, and there you are in the middle. And the next thing is you have to do is you have to share your products. And they're suggesting customers. Obviously, we've got to share, to sell to customers. And out of our customers, and for me, this is very often the way it works, the customer becomes okay, before we get to what the customer becomes, if you can sell your 6, you're going to start off immediately with your baseline cash flow back and a profit of 370 Rand. And I mean, I don't know what if 370 Rand floats your boat, but hang on, it works. It shows you that there is the start of something to be made. Then, after you've shared the product, you share your opportunity. And as I was saying to you, often my people who become part of my opportunity group are coming out of my customers. They come as they join in order to get themselves a discount. And if they were like me, I wanted that discount. I was using product, and I would do anything to save. And in fact, it's been my lifetime skill that I've developed over the years, that where you save, because then it gives you some more for somewhere else. And then often when they've learned about how they're saving, those are often the people who will say, oh, okay, I can make some money out of this too. But if you can get your first 6 who are all doing 100 points, and there you are in the middle doing your 100 points, and this is a good way to start in the first month, you would then have a total of 700 points for you. Do you understand what I'm saying? 6 people doing 100 points, you do 100 points. 6 training is a box of that is 102 points. If you can get your new people started on that, it's just under 1,900 Rand, and they would get their money back plus their profit straight away. You, meanwhile, if you are here and you've got those 6 people and yourself.
Sorry, Monica. No, I'm
Yeah.
not seeing what you're sharing. I don't know why.
Oh, can't anybody see what I'm sharing?
No, I've actually just sent you a message because I can't see it. I can see the original screen. The presentation's not sharing. I sent you a private message to just let you know.
Oh, I wonder why that's happening. Okay, well, let me just talk it through quickly. So from I'll go back to the original. So if you just listen to me, I'll quick. Your bonus on your first month of 700 points would be about 800 Rand. Then you share the opportunity, and I'm going to run it through, and I'm going to finish it. Let's leave it there and then sort it out for the next time, because I would like you to get that in your heads. You've got to find yourself your 6 people who are all doing 100 points. And if you can do it in your first month, this is what you're telling your people when you're sharing the opportunity, there's a possibility of over 800 Rand straight off in the first month. Plus, and I think we've got to emphasize this, the cash flow, they're starting 1,900 Rand is back in their pocket. Sorry about that. We need to practice that, Rob, to get it right. So if you could just want to repeat quickly what Rory keeps on saying at his meetings, Bob, you'll recognize this from last week. He said it again on the Thursday night, and I can see what he's doing. He's showing us a way to, when we are presenting the business to people. Okay, we are in the business of sharing the products, but we're also in the business of sharing the business. And people are very skeptical, very, very cynical in this world that we live in. Many have been very badly hurt over the years by people in companies who deliberately or not, people end up losing money, etc., etc. So we want people to be very sure when they are looking at Neolife as a business opportunity. So the first one, the question, and we're going back now to asking questions. Is the product relevant? That's your first question. And as Andre has pointed out to us this morning, it is completely relevant to our world that we live in, with testimonials over 65 years and proof there that these products actually do work and are relevant to our world, with food consumption has changed so dramatically that there are massive health problems coming out of it. The second one is the company solvent and long-term? And you would tell the person, when you're looking to start any business, you need to ask these questions. And of course, the company is solvent. Been going, as I said, over 65 years now, into our 66th year. And it is privately owned, and the founder is 83, and he's still doing press-ups. So it is a very, very viable business from that point of view. Your third question, will it make me money? Well, that little simple explanation, which we need to develop and get clearer on that PowerPoint, I will send the PowerPoint link out to all of you just now, it's a very, very obvious way of making money, but it's net work. It's not net sit. So you have to get out there and do the work. Of course, you'll make money if you put in the effort. There's proof beyond words that it has worked for many thousands of people. Your fourth question, how much does it take to start? And is there a risk? And we go from 870, and the fantastic news, which I will follow up on in our housekeeping at the end, is that our Pro Vitality is back. So that's in the 1,000 Rand category. But the company and the experience of other distributors around us are showing us that either the 880 or the 1,900 or the starter pack with the tree and end for people who want to get the business going is beyond doubt amazing way to get the business off the ground. What is the risk? Well, I think this is what was my biggest anxiety, and being very also very cautious. And when I worked out that the worst that could happen was that I would have 6 bottles of Trianen to consume over the next 6 months, and they've all got date stamps that go through to 2026 or something. I thought, well, if nothing else happens, I've got a bit of a pile up of some really good supplements I can use. The risk is very minimal, and it's been made even easier in the time that we are living, because in the days when Rory and Nola McDermott started, they had to buy almost half a warehouse because there was no warehousing. We don't need to do that at all. And then what do I have to do to make it happen? Well, one of the interesting things that Rory always says there, and I think this is something we kind of forget and we need to focus back in on in our own lives, and that is we have to, apart from do the join up, pay, we forget the number one daily success habit. We have to use our products. So what do we need to do for that? We need to change our buying habits. And I know that for me, that was really, really hard when we started. I was completely a handy-andy disciple. I wasn't going to choose anything else. And I was told very emphatically by Rory McDermott, Monica, you have to make that change. And I did. Very difficult for me at the beginning because I had to learn how the products worked. And boy, was that one of the best things we ever did. Especially when I started realizing that over a couple of years, we were saving thousands of rands through the use of our cleaning products. So those were the 5 questions that we need to get into our heads when we can add it into our business presentations. And I encourage you to learn them or write down your business presentation and start practicing it. At that point, I'm going to move on from those questions into the housekeeping. For those of you who've got the diary, we are now moving into the last week of the month, and it's got a special name. I'll share it up on the WhatsApp group on tomorrow. But this is the 80% where it's 20% where we do 80% of the business in the final week. It's payday time, and it's time to just really, really put the hours and the effort in. Rory always also says there's one big difference between the rich and the poor. And what the rich have worked out is how to manage time. Get that in your heads. It's just, it always mind boggles me that if we can manage our time and focus in on what we have to do on a daily basis, which is they're saying about on a part-time basis, a minimum of 10 hours a week. Now, in this last week of the month, you have to be talking to at least one person or more a day. Follow up with your customers. Who needs another order? Who haven't you spoken to? Who needs a one-to-one? Who did you hear talking about their brittle bones or something recently? So get your listening ear in. Keep writing down in your diaries and in your journals, so that you keep reminding yourselves of everything that you need to do. I'm finding that is the only way I'm managing for myself. I don't know about anyone else, but if I don't keep it written down and keep looking at what I've written, I get very easily distracted. Then on the housekeeping side as well, then month end is on the 31st. So we've got this week and 3 days and theoretically 4 days. You have to have your 100 points in. Please remind your people to get their 100 points. After that cutoff at midnight on the month end day, if they haven't got their 100 points, any orders they do go straight into the next month. And for people who are working towards a bonus, they must make sure that they've got that 100 points. Then the target is to help them to go the next level. And each one of us here knows what our own next level is and how to get, if we're not sure how to do it, talk to your person who signed you up and get your head working around it, because that's where the planning and the magic starts. I just want to emphasize to you the lifestyle is out from last year. I got another copy of that with my latest order. Read your lifestyles and go onto back office and look at them. There's a ton of information there, because what we all have to do, thank you, Andre, for that talk this morning. We have to keep on building our own knowledge. We don't have to be scientists, but this is one of the things that we have to, one of the way we do it. All right, Andre, you've got 2 minutes to also make a very, very exciting announcement about the medical world around us.
Please, people, this is an early message, so it's not for general broadcast, but just for you to get your thinking caps on. Starting last year, Connie at the head office was talking about maybe setting up some talks that we could offer to the broad medical profession, whereby they could earn CPE points. And so that is about to be launched. And so what this means is that people in healthcare professions have to do this on continue.
That's exactly what I've been saying. We have to continue building our own knowledge. You keep breaking up, Andre. Carry on.
And so the professionals have to do it in a formal way where it is recorded, so that they can keep their licenses active and so on. And so Neolife is, they are almost ready to be launched. And the way in which it'll work is that we can invite people in those medical professions to listen and earn CP if they're interested. And I haven't actually seen one of the talks yet. They're obviously very carefully tailored so that they don't look like advertising talks, they're information. But then our job is, once we've invited someone to take a listen in order to earn some CPE points, is to continue the conversation going with that person. Are you, would you like to try some of the products? Would you like to
30
incorporate
seconds,
them
Andre.
into your practice and so on? So start making a list of medical professionals that you know, and all the supporting professions like physios and pharmacists and all those people who have to do CPE points, because it's going to be an opportunity for you to start talking